Hey guys, what does an 85-year-old woman have between her legs that a young woman doesn't?
Oh my
Whoa,
God.
geez, I don't want to picture that. What?
Her tits.
Oh,
My God.
man.
Oh my God. Oh my
Hey,
God. I
man.
can't believe I did that
Welcome to
joke.
the Big Bad Broadcast, dude.
Thank you, Tommy Chong, and welcome to the Big Bad Broadcast. The danger, spooky stuck ones. And we got a great cast for you today. We have Mike Grief.
Oh, let me tell you something. I can feel the ear in the air today. It's just spooky, man. It's just cosmically spooky.
Craig Mitchell.
Yeah, Mike feels the ear in the air. I guess Evander Holyfield's going to be stopping by. That'd be awesome.
No, then I'd be feeling the ear in the mouth.
That's right. The ear. I feel the ear in the mouth.
What's happening, Johnny boy?
Did Tyson bite on somebody's ear too?
Yeah, Evander Holyfield.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Evander
Hollywood
Holyfield.
did. Yeah.
You got to keep
I
up.
told you that
Johnny.
was my favorite line ever on one of those young comedians shows. Jeffrey Ross was doing this thing, and oh God, I just went blank.
Okay, time for
Tyson
the
stood
it's
up
time
and
for the
went like this.
Alzheimer medicine.
No, no,
there,
We're
Jen.
rolling.
Okay, let's start over. So
No.
Tyson goes, Jeffrey Ross, you are so unfunny that halfway through your set I wanted to chew my own ears off.
But you can't blame Mike Tyson because Evander Holyfield did have cauliflower ears. Thank you.
Ooh.
Oh,
I am
And
here
he
all
was,
week.
and you got to remember, Randy Holyfield was well seasoned.
Well seasoned.
Oh, hey, talk about your
my
puns.
God.
I'm working
Yeah.
on my puns for Craig.
I love puns.
Yes. So what are we doing? What are we
All
going?
right,
What is
so a couple
happening?
of things in the news we got to discuss.
Oh yeah.
Some
Oh,
weird
boy.
stuff.
It's good.
So I read in the paper that last Sunday, I don't know why
What?
this is funny.
John
This
Reed.
guy in Titusville, right near NASA,
That's funny right
Now-
there. Titusville.
and you know what's even funnier? On my GPS, it goes, "Welcome to Titusville."
Oh,
I
I thought you
swear to
were
God.
going to
I
say
swear to God.
Tit-Assville.
I gotta go.
I wonder if Chris Titus lives there. That'd be
Oh man.
And but anyway, this guy came out, and there was a dead skydiver on his front lawn.
wow.
Wait a minute. Fucking Amazon, man. You know, jeez.
Dead skydiver.
You can order anything on Amazon, huh?
He did get there overnight, though.
I mean, they don't know what happened. This is
What
so
was he
funny.
like? What did he jump out of nothing? Somebody must have known where he came
Well,
from.
there's an airfield near there. The guy was in his like 60s. They said the chute had opened. Everything looked good, except he was dead.
Except he was
And the police,
great
the
form. He
police-
had great form. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was like,
and the police.
he stuck the
said-
landing great.
The police said it was an accident.
Well, yeah.
No, it wasn't on purpose.
Oh, he really stuck that landing, man.
Oh,
And
man.
the only evidence they have is somebody's Ring doorbell picked up the reflection of the guy right before he hit the ground.
So you know what's funny? It's like if that would have happened now, you know how on Halloween everyone put shit in their lawn?
I
Everyone would
know.
have just driven by thinking it was just a fucking Halloween decoration. Dead guy
I
in the
know.
lawn, you know.
Good thing he wasn't hanging out of a tree or something.
Did you know what his last words were?
Ah!
No, hold my beer.
Oh,
Oh
shit.
my God.
I got this.
And the other
Never
thing,
mind.
just as funny as that,
Oh,
I
man.
didn't mean to interrupt you. Gonna say something, Craig?
Well, no, I was going to say
Oh.
that reminds me of an old Richie Minervini joke.
Let's move on.
What do you mean?
What was the joke? What
He's
was
a
the
friend of the
joke?
show.
I do remember. What was the joke?
Well, my dad got hit by a train. Oh, what did they do before that? Oh, he went.
They.
No, I love Minervini. He called me a pussy on friggin' Facebook, though. So
Really?
So Ron
Just joking.
DeSantis is in the news again for not. Florida's in a really bad state right now because.
It is a bad state.
yeah, because Ron DeSantis is the governor. That's why. it's in a bad
Right. But
state.
here's the thing. The travel advisory about not coming to Florida.
yeah,
If you're LGBT GTO,
LBGTO muscle
GTO.
car, gay muscle car, LBGTO.
And
Or
they added a
Chevelle.
couple of new. They added a couple of new letters now, right?
I don't even know. LGBT.
Craig, do me a favor, please. When you have the next,
Meeting?
whatever the meeting,
Yeah.
can you please recommend that they form those letters to make some? There's got to be a word you can form out of that shit.
I can't go to those meetings because I'm in arrears.
Oh
no, I don't even know what they are. I just do LGBTQ plus. Like it's HBO Max. That's what it sounds like.
Well, here's the story.
HBO Max. It's gay people Max.
Here's the story. Ron DeSantis is such a racist bigot, and he's so anti-gay. In fact, he has a law
which tells me that he's probably secretly closeted gay.
If you know those boots, he's definitely gay.
You saw the white boots, he's gay. Come on.
Okay, well, anyway, listen to this. This is a story about his boots.
He's more than just happy.
Okay, so right now, Disney is at an all-time low. They've never, ever offered discount tickets or a reduction in the hotels. They say that it's empty. People are afraid to come to Florida. And he took $436 million of taxpayers' money to fight Disney, which is the biggest employer of the state of Florida, and he's the governor.
They're also afraid skydivers are going to fall on their head.
Right.
You know what? And you don't fuck with the mouse. That's the word. You don't mess with the mouse.
Well, here's the funniest part of this whole story. Ron DeSantis right now, look it up online. It's all over social media. He's registered as 5'9". They say that he's probably not 5'9". He says he's 5'9".
Yeah.
But he wears cowboy boots with a 3-inch heel, and then inside it, he has a 4-inch lift.
Okay, now we know what's going on.
His shoes look like elf shoes. The toes curl up because there's no feet. There's no meat in the toes.
He's got the little guy complex. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you what.
John, I'm 6'1". I was 280 pounds. I can't even tell you how many times I've had these little guys that got something to prove that I've had to kick across a field like a football. Because it's like, they want to play tough. You can't play tough. Bang, all right, you're tough. There you go.
That's why you don't work with Danny DeVito anymore.
That's it. No, it's because he came up there. It's fucking easy to get a blowjob from Dan. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
Ring the bell. Ring the
bell.
Come
on, we were high.
You can rest your beer in his head.
You were high.
Anyway.
It's all in his book.
And he kept calling you Rhea.
So it's all over the fact that he wears these like women's wedge boots inside. But I mean, De Niro's the other one. Have you ever seen his shoes? He looks like he's wearing Frankenstein.
Well, if you look at most movies, I'm talking about all, but most of these movie stars are, and I don't know why, but a lot of them are little guys. And this goes back to the day. They used to stand a lot of the movie stars on a box when they do a scene because they were too short for their leading lane. So except for guys like John Wayne was like huge. I think he was only like 6'1" or 2, but yet he was 6'4". I mean, he was a monster compared to most of the other.
I don't think he ever wore 4-inch lifts in his cowboy.
Tom Cruise is 5'7".
No, he never wore.
So anyway, that's the big news on Ron DeSantis, his lifts and his boots, and it's really funny. And the other funny story in Florida is okay. So we've talked about the Villages.
Yeah,
the Villages has the highest.
This is an over 55 community of Villages.
Yes.
Right?
As my friend says, they're over 55 when they open. That was 20 years ago. Now they're over 75. That's always the appeal. Well, it's over 55. Yes. My friend lives in over 55, and there isn't anybody in there 90 because it opened 30-something years ago. But anyway, so the Villages has got really some kinky shit going on. Like, if they put pineapples in front of their house upside down, it means they're swingers. If they leave their garage doors open.
That's not just the Villages. I think that's a universal sign.
I think apparently started in the Villages. That's what I heard. Anyway, there's a guy in the Villages.
Look at these old fucking people are getting laid more than we are.
Well, yeah, I mean.
So when they leave the pineapple upside down, do you just expect people to walk up their walk and knock on the door and go, "Hey, let's fuck"?
Yeah, I saw you pineapple.
Hey, can I bang the pineapple?
I saw you pineapple. Either you're making a cake
Yeah.
Or pizza. Or a pizza that no New Yorker wants to eat.
Either you want to get laid or we're doing pina coladas. Which one is it?
Well, in England, that grass, that beach grass, it looks like it's got those long stalks with like little
England.
caterpillars on them.
Hold on, John. I'll have to go take care of my hedge.
You know what beach grass looks like?
No,
not
beach
this
grass.
Smoke. It's long, tall grass, about 18, 24 inches long. And it's got a long
I thought that was called like elephant grass.
Got like a little caterpillar-looking thing on it.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Well, if you have that in front of your house in England, it means you're a swinger. They call it swingers grass.
What?
Right.
Yeah.
Swingers grass.
So anyway, this is back to the story. This guy is like in his 70s, and he was just arrested by the federal drug and alcohol thing because he had $100,000 worth of Viagra that he was selling.
Is it illegal? Is that?
Well, it's a prescription drug. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Was he like making it himself in the basement?
I don't know. He's probably importing it from.
First of
China.
all,
from
China. Listen, the truth is like it's like there's all these other drugs that are like knockoffs of it. Do you really want a discount hard-on? If you're going to take this shit, I want the real. I don't need this stuff. I take it just for fun because I don't take it. I've never tried it, but. If you are going to take it, don't you want the real fucking deal?
Not necessarily. The real deal is like $7 a pill. The generic is like $1.
Hey, John, how do you know that?
I know it because I had a little prostate problem for a while.
I know that because I used to have to stick a finger in my ass to get a hard. No, sir.
I used to work for a telemarketing company that sold all natural Viagra stuff, and one of the ingredients in it was called Tribulus terrestis. I'm not kidding.
Tribulus terrestis.
It would get you going, but it got some people really sick.
Hey, look, in my day, you took 2 of those big tongue depressor sticks and a little string. Bajung, you got it right there. Okay,
what, a puppet show.
Either that, or you formed some kind of an elaborate pulley system. Bajunga.
Oh man, that reminds me of the band Limp Bizkit.
There's so many Viagra. There's so many Viagra.
You notice though? Let me tell you something. Here's the thing. It's like there's no cure for cancer. Basically, there's no cure for a lot of these diseases. Some fucking executive couldn't get a heart on, and there's 14 pills to fucking fix your balls.
Well, it was actually a heart medication.
My doctor said, it turned out that it was a blood pressure medicine.
Right.
This is a side effect.
That's a nice side effect, though.
It makes your arteries expand. Or
I went there because my toenails are discolored, and I got a heart on. Hey, this is great.
Do you have toenail fungus? Try a Viagra.
You know what I loved? You remember the commercials for that? There was a thing for your toenails if they're thick and yellow. And part of and I love at the end they always give the possible side effects, and one was like death, and it's like I'm not gonna fucking die because I got thick toenails, you piece of shit. Jesus Christ.
My mom used to have toenails so thick they looked like Ritz crackers stacked on top of each other.
Dude, that's a problem.
What a nice image.
Yeah, I know. It's like, am I sick or do I want to put cheese on it?
I'm gonna make a hat that says I hate Craig's mom.
Oh man! Actually, Carrie Carabas had a joke. It says, you get your grandma with a toe that looks like a lug nut. Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like. It was not appetizing.
Oh, lug nut.
I don't know. All I know is that there's some kind of mistake. It's like it's like I got to cut it. If they don't cut the toenails, they start to go ingrown, and it's so painful. It's like, why would nature do that? Just stop at a certain point. Why do you got to keep fucking with me?
I don't know. That's one of the mysteries of life.
We're not using the nails what they were meant for. They're basically the remnants of us having claws. That's what they are. So
in other words, at one point we was all the Wolverine.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's why I drink White Claw. No, I don't drink
White Claw, man. So anyway, what
did you see that story?
Have you noticed all of the Halloween? What story?
Wait.
There's a story. There's a story online where this bus driver got fired for drinking a White Claw while she was driving, and her story is she didn't know it was alcoholic.
Oh, I was just going to ask you because I wasn't sure. I don't drink, so I don't know. White Claw has alcohol.
I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's alcohol. It's like a spritzer.
Right. And she's drinking the White Claw when she's driving your kids around. And she goes,
I thought it wasn't just an energy drink.
But come on.
That's bullshit. Come on. You can taste and smell alcohol. I don't give a shit who you are.
She just figured when she bought it and they checked her license And
I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you.
Uh,
If I'm driving kids around, I got to be fucking drunk. That's the only way I got. I got to be three sheets to the wind if I'm dealing with these little bastards.
Oh my God.
Nice.
I love her excuse. She said, I didn't know it was alcohol.
Truthfully, actually, your kids are safer with me if I'm drunk because they're fucking in trouble if I got to put up with them sober.
One of the first bits Steve Martin ever did.
What?
He goes, if you ever get in trouble and you don't know why, you just say, I forgot. Why did you kill your whole family? I forgot murder was illegal.
That's right. Or fucking Eddie Murphy had a line about it. Was it Eddie Murphy or somebody said, why'd you kill everyone in the house? It was good day was home.
It was home.
he goes, you haven't paid your income taxes in 10 years. Why? I forgot.
Steve Martin was funny. He was always consistently funny.
He was really funny. You know, I was talking to somebody the other day about that, and one of the reasons why he was so funny was whenever he was on the Tonight Show, right? It was like people just talked about it. Did you see him last night? Because he never did his act. He just always did something funny. Like the one time he came out and he had a full beard and half of it was shaved. And he walked out like to the left so you can only see the beard, and he sat down talking to Johnny.
Right.
And then Ed asked him a question and he turned, he had no beard on one side. And then another time, which to me was the most brilliant thing he ever did, he came out with 2 paper bags glued under his eyes, like little paper bags, like 4-inch eyes that were under his eyes, and just made no reference to it. And he's going, yeah, you know, Johnny, I've been working a little hard lately. I haven't been getting much sleep. And, you know, it's just been tough. You know, I feel I'm tired all the time. I have to go to the doctor, you know.
Stop
and
clicking the pen.
It takes, you know, it physically takes a toll on you. And it goes on for like 6 minutes and he never mentions it. And Johnny goes, well, and Johnny's the greatest straight up man in the world. He goes, well, I can see you have bags on your eyes. And he goes, I have what? And he goes, you think you go through makeup? You think someone would tell you got paper bags glued on your face?
Paper bags glued on your face.
And he was another one when he was really getting pretty famous. He came driving out to the mic to do a stand-up in a Mini. And he got out of the car and he went to the microphone and he started doing his comedy act, right? And then he got back in the car and drove over to the desk. And it was like one of those real little minis. And he gets out and he hands Ed McMahon the keys and $5. He goes, you don't mind parking there, do you? And the car comes up to like Ed's knees. You know?
Oh, man, that's funny.
And then the first opening line was, he goes to Johnny, he goes, yeah, now that I'm successful, I don't do the little things I used to do, like walk.
I liked his Flydini. That was hilarious.
Yeah. Well, there were certain guys, but there were certain guys that were huge that I personally, I got, but I didn't get. Like Andy Kaufman. I didn't get Andy Kaufman. I thought it was like interesting, but it was like just
it was weird.
So.
It was weird.
I didn't laugh, but I was always fascinated by what he did.
Yes, hats off to the amount of balls it took to do what he did, like the
Mighty Mouse.
Put on the Mighty Mouse record and just stand there and do nothing, but then go along.
Yeah, balls, Elvis he had a great Elvis impression.
His Elvis was good. So back to Steve Martin really quick. The first time I worked the Magic Castle, right? It was my dad said, I got an offer to work the Magic Castle. It's like 40 years ago. And I was just really starting to do comedy magic. And my dad said to me, you should really go out and do the Magic Castle because, you're getting some notoriety on Long Island. But if your act goes over there, you have something, you know? So I go out there and it's the first time I'm there. I am nervous and I am intimidated and I've never been there. And I'm doing that theater that you guys see me in, that, that, like little theater. And it's funny because coming back to it 40 years later, it looks like half the size of what I remembered it as. And I walk out on stage and I'm doing the meat cleaver thing in my head. And I look in the front row, and who's sitting in the front row but Steve Martin.
Wow.
Really?
And it's like, and it is at the height of Steve Martin mania, And
is this after he did the hanger through the head thing?
The arrow. Yeah.
The arrow. Yeah, I used to have an arrow, right.
And I went into my dressing room and I was like, oh, Steve Martin was here. Oh my God. And he came into my dressing room and he said, man, you were really funny. You really made me laugh, which was like, I called my dad that night. I go,
Yeah.
I made Steve Martin laugh. My dad goes,
When you
okay,
said-
well, it's good to go.
When you said
Yeah,
he
that's
came
like a
into
home
your,
run, man.
when you said he came into your dressing room, I was going to say I thought you say that he touched you inappropriately, but
Bring
you
them
know,
up.
hey, you're funny, kid, but that's not going to stop me.
Yeah,
from
that
You
was-
want to get
that
somewhere
was-
in this? You want to get somewhere in this business? Bend over.
It's time for prison romance. Shut up.
Okay, just to blow my own horn one more time. This is the only other
Speaking
thing
of
that I think.
blow, sorry.
This is really another. I was just talking to Chris about this today. So so not to name drop, but all my friends moved to California. All my surfing buddies, like 4 of them. 3 of them are no longer alive, unfortunately.
Oh, that's not good.
But so I'm doing the Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young reunion tour at the Santa Barbara movie theater. So I invite them all to the show. Some of the guys I went to Woodstock with to see Crosby, Stills, Nash, they have no idea. They think I'm an X-ray technician. They have no idea I'm doing comedy. So they get there and they have backstage passes. They come in the back and there's 4 dressing rooms. It says Crosby, Stills, Nash, Young, Ferrantino. And they're like, what is going on? Is he in a band now? They had no idea.
Is he in a band?
They bring him
They
on
thought I
during
was part of-
Sweet Ruby, whatever.
Yeah, they thought I was part of
It's
the band.
my heart, that's what I hate to lose.
Southern
So anyway,
Cross.
at the end of the show, I had a great show, and we were all in the dressing room, and my friends are just starstruck. These are guys from Long Island. They've never met anybody famous, whatever. And and these guys were
They never met Richie Manavini?
What?
They never met anybody famous. They moved before that whole comedy scene took place.
Right.
So we're standing there, and Graham Nash walks into the dressing room and goes, "Hey, so you're friends with Johnny Boy, right?" And they're like, "It's Graham Nash!" Like they're
Johnny
going
Boy.
crazy. They're going crazy. They go, he's very funny. He goes, I really like him. He's a good chap, And then Crosby walks in and goes, so you're gonna admit you're friends with fucking Ferrantino, that scumbag, right? My friends think it's the best. So if it couldn't get, I may have told you it couldn't get any cooler. My friends are just sitting there, like blown away, and I'm sitting there like trying to be cool, like, yeah, this happens every day. And with that, Jack Nicholson sticks his head in the door with his glasses on and does a total Nicholson. He goes, pretty fucking funny, as he lifts his glasses.
Wow.
Pretty funny
And my
boy.
friends were just like blown away. That was like the highlight of their lives. It was mine too.
That's like, that's like all the times I've known Patton Oswalt. That's about an equivalent right there. No. Okay.
But yeah, that those are those things. And
Let's just drop those names.
no, these are the things. These are those show business moments that
I know.
that
Trust me.
it's like you're very happy. I mean, 2 weeks ago, I flew in a private jet with my daughter to Vegas with the Seagulls to see Barry Manilow. We're in the second row.
You get those moments.
We were
Listen,
in a suite, and I looked at my daughter and I just said, this shit doesn't happen unless you're in show business.
no.
You know,
See,
that's
I've
nothing.
got a bunch of those moments that might not mean anything to anybody, but to me, like I was just reminded of the week I got to work with Kenneth Mars and Julie Newmar.
Right.
God.
Now most people would go, who the hell is Kenneth Mars? But to me, Kenneth Mars was a
great.
fucking genius. I just remember, walk on the set, didn't know, and
Is
there
that
he
Malcolm
is.
in the Middle?
No, it was what was a show called Maggie. And Julie Newmar. There were the 2 guest stars that week were Julie Newmar and Kenneth Mars, and I was like, holy, wow, just blown away.
I mean, I saw Harrison Ford at a deli counter once.
What was he ordering?
I don't remember. I was too horrified to say.
The Indiana Jones special sandwich. Come on, he probably has his
He was
own
ordering
sandwich.
cold cuts, but I don't remember. I was just staring at him, going, "Oh my God, he's real."
Did he have the whip? Was he like, those better be boar's head?
Yeah, yeah. They went to put salami on the sandwich and went, "Get it off my sandwich."
Yeah.
He had a little MP3 player on his belt that went dun, 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 dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun,
dun.
No, I saw Leo DiCaprio in the same. It was at Gelson's. I'm not going to say where. But
I know where. I know where.
Yeah,
I was walking down the
there's a lot of
street once.
celebrities there.
I was walking down the street once with my friend, and this beautiful blonde comes out with this nerdiest looking guy in the world, and my friend goes really loud, "Look at this Woody Allen looking motherfucker." and it was Woody Allen. And he just grabbed her hand and he ran past us and jumped into a car.
Look, what kind of friends do you have that just fucking embarrass people like that? Even if it wasn't Woody Harrelson, just
Look at this Woody Allen,
come on, you
motherfucker.
Just to go, look at this Woody Allen looking motherfucker.
Look at this
you know,
Woody Allen. It was so funny. He goes, look at this Woody Allen looking motherfucker.
Well, when Madonna was on Broadway, she was on Broadway doing, I think it was called, was it Speed the Plow? Was that the name of the show she did?
I
think it was.
Probably the only one who saw
I was
it.
walking towards Broadway, and she passed me along with Ron Silver, who was also in it. And so
Right.
I with the Madonna sighting, that was pretty impressive. I actually walked past. Madonna.
Well, I'll tell you, like I said, I've done. You want to talk about intimidation? Like I said, I think I've told you. I read for Analyze This, that the Billy
Right.
Crystal, and so it's like, you get a call, you got an audition, Mike, you go down, so I go down to the studio, blah, blah, blah. You walk in the door, and who am I reading? I'm reading with Harold Ramis,
Right.
So you talk about intimidating. Then there was another time I was reading for a movie, and a walk in the office, and who was it? What's his? Geez, why am I blanking? The guy from Blue Bloods, the older guy who tries to sell you reverse
Smelling
mortgages.
toast.
Tom
Selleck. I walk in, and there's fucking and let me tell you, Tom Selleck. And now I'm not, whatever, is probably one of the most handsome, and just in person. It was not like a gay thing. I mean, I did blow him, but it wasn't like in a gay
it was just
way.
To get a job. It was just to get a job.
I had to ring the bell and I said Aquaman had a good body.
No, but have you ever been like there's a few people. Okay, Tom Selleck was one. You see this guy and you go, wow, I understand why this guy's a star. He has this incredible aura. There is something special. There was Stevie Wonder had that. I'm trying to think who
You had sex with Stevie Wonder too?
No. I didn't have
didn't
sex
see
with
it
Stevie
coming.
Wonder. Stevie Wonder said no, but
He
no.
never saw it coming.
Sorry, Cameron. I blindsided him. All right, come here, Stevie.
Oh no!
Oh.
Well, I mean, I was going to say I read with Michael J. Fox.
But did he have that aura? Did you know? Like another, I'd work with Neil Patrick Harris had it.
Seriously,
it was just something.
You go into this different level, and because I read in their offices on West 57th Street,
right.
and the casting director goes, Craig, I'm going to have you read with one of the producers. Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, sure. Come back, I'll call you back in. I'm sitting there. She goes, okay, come in. I come in, and there's Michael J. Fox holding his script. I'm like, what the. And I forgot.
That was
Penn City. He was a producer.
Yeah.
I was just in a totally different. And he laughed it, and it was great.
I was on a boat. I was working at the comic strip in Fort Lauderdale, and a woman came up to me after the show, and she said, "You're perfect. I want to put you in a movie."
Really?
And I was afraid. I had long hair and a beard.
It was a weird kind of movie. It was.
Oh yeah, I didn't know what it was. So she said,
John, your line, John, is,
anyway,
hey man, that's an exit only.
Yeah, they did Behind the Green Door without him.
She said it's a legitimate movie, and meet us this pier in the morning. And I got there, and I had to get on a boat with Robbie Benson, Paul Newman, and Wilford Brimley.
Well,
And Paul Newman Newman had that whole thing that you're talking about. You just looked at him and you knew he was a star.
You just
knew he was a star.
Like I said, I did an episode of
Harry and Son. You're in Harry and Son.
Yeah, my arm.
Sorry, Mike.
I did an episode of How I Met Your Mother, and let me just like I said, Neil Patrick he had the same thing. It's almost like you can see the aura. There's something special about certain people, and I've worked with a lot of huge stars, didn't have it, but certain people just have it. It's
amazing. You got called an asshole by Dennis Franz, which is still my favorite thing that's ever happened to you.
And incredibly one of the nicest guys you could ever meet.
I love Dennis Franz.
I tell you this.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, bring up Dennis Franz. When we were doing that scene, it was a pretty complex scene because there was a lot of movement, a lot of whatever. And there was a cop who had a line before, in between my lines, and this cop kept blowing his line. I mean, like 20 times, like 20 something times, and he kept getting the line wrong. And here's Dennis, guy's a huge star, he's the star of the show, and most of the time those guys, they'll just go, fuck this, I'm going to my trail. Let me know when you can fucking fire this guy and get a new actor. Dennis Franz puts his arm around this guy, takes him for a walk up or down, maybe 30, 40 feet away. And he's talking to him, and he's just telling him, listen, just relax. But the guy comes back nails the line, does the scene. You know, I mean, like the guy didn't have to do that. He took the guy for a walk, calmed him down, got him. That to me, that's just a really good man.
And that guy was Brad Pitt.
I have a funny Madonna story. As a friend of mine, I can't tell details, but she worked for MTV.
You can tell details without saying the guy's name.
No, she worked for MTV.
Oh, Ken Ober?
So anyway, so they were doing the MTV Music Awards. So they were all assigned to different music groups. And she was a big exec, so she got Madonna, and at the time she was still married to Sean Penn. This is how long ago.
Wow.
So they get in the limo, and they pull up in front of their condo in New York or apartment, whatever it is. And Sean Penn comes down and gets in the car and says, so you're blah, blah, blah. And she says yes. And he says, listen, Madonna will be down here in a couple of minutes, and there's some ground rules. Don't even look at her. Don't try to talk to her. And by any means, just don't pay any attention to her. Just do not talk to her. And she turns to him and says, fuck you, I should have taken the monkeys. And he starts laughing his ass off. And he gets out of the thing. And he comes down like 5 minutes later with Madonna. And she said she couldn't have been any nicer. He must have told her what she said.
There you go. That's funny. It's weird. We would get instructions like that. So, like I said, I drove limo for a couple of years, and struggling. When you're an actor, you do whatever. And there would be sometimes when they'd say, the dispatcher would tell you, you're getting this one. Don't talk to him. Unless he talks to you, don't say anything. Because, some of these guys are just, if I remember correctly, I think Shatner was one of those guys. Because I think too many people would call him Captain Kirk or some shit, So he was like, they were like, don't, just leave him alone. Don't talk to him.
I can understand that though. I really.
Who's the female actress that had like vagina perfume or something?
Oh, that's
the candles. The candles. She scented her candles like the old vagine.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Gwyneth Paltrow is considered like one of the most hated actresses in New York. I was reading this article about her that.
I want to order one of those candles.
Blister. Wait, listen. She had a blister on her toe, and she couldn't wear shoes. She had to wear sandals, and she wanted the entire lobby of the hotel evacuated so no one would see her in sandals.
I don't believe this shit. I think people make this shit up.
I don't know. She's supposed to be a real bitch.
Well, I guess
we'll never have her on the show.
I was working at Chiller.
At least have one of her candles on the show.
Oh, I was working at Chiller. I was a money man for my friend Dwayne,
Where were you working at? Chili's?
Chiller. It's Chiller at Chili's, and I was working the fry.
I was working the
no, and no, but I was part. I guess I can't get this. I was part of the convention.
Craig, get it out. Craig, say it. What is it?
Ring that bell. I'm trying to get it out. So I was wearing, I'm part of the convention and all that. And we walked to go to the elevator. Rob Graydon was with me, and they stop us. I said, sorry, we have VIPs going into the elevator, and because there's all actors, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm standing there, and Billy Baldwin walks up and goes onto the elevator.
There you go, man.
So I scream out. I was pissed because I was tired. I went, Billy Baldwin, he's not a VIP. Where's Alec? Is Alec in there? And Billy Baldwin stopped and looked at me, gave me a look that would freaking kill me.
That's so funny.
What's the other one's name? That looks fucking psycho. Always plays psychos. What's the Baldwin? What's
the younger one? I can't think of his name.
Fucking douchebag Baldwin.
The one. Oh, but he's a cool guy. I've talked to him. He's
Stephen Baldwin, isn't it?
Yeah, is it Stephen?
I don't know. The one who was in The Usual Suspects. He plays a good psycho. He plays a good psycho, though.
Yeah, he played Barney Rubble too, I think, in one of the.
But I mean, listen, if you're a Baldwin brother, you got the famous whatever. It's like, come on, man, you fucking hand these guys parts. They didn't earn them. Guys like us have to earn a part. If it was
Alec Baldwin, I could see it, but come on.
What do you got to do? Shoot a fucking person around here to get a part? Oh, hey, come here.
That's so wrong.
So anyway, I'm glad we stuck to the topic, and we were talking about the
name of the show is Dangerous Spooky Stuff Inside. So far, it's been pretty unspooky.
Well, I know it's fucking all the Halloween stuff.
We have to look to
been
John.
out for a month already. Let me add one question though before we get to if we go on to that.
If we go on,
do you hate? I fucking hate pumpkin spice anything.
Me too. Oh, I am with you.
I hate it.
I hate it too. People go, "Oh, it's Halloween. pumpkin spice coffee. I go, oh my
I can
God,
top
shut
that.
up.
I've never had it.
Good for you,
my-
man.
good for
Jeez,
you.
it's just fucking terrible. It's horrible, and they just make everyone makes a big deal of it. It's like,
No, wait, I
know.
have used pumpkin spice lube. So does that count?
but it was on yourself, so no, it doesn't. How many gay jokes can I sneak in here?
Speaking of,
Why is it gay? I had to fit through tight space.
Yeah.
Speaking of spooky stuff.
Speaking of spooky stuff.
Uh-oh, you ready for the spooky stuff?
So,
John
yeah,
just got all depressed.
No, what do you guys want to know?
Well, no, we were talking about like your thing with the Waverly, your show. You do that show, Do Spirits Return, which is I'm telling you, I have not had the privilege of seeing it yet, but I'll tell you what, I really want to see it. It's all about the Waverly. Well, you tell him, John.
Well,
I saw the video. The video that you sent us was amazing.
Okay, so I'll just tell you how I do it.
Well, maybe explain the Waverly, like what it is.
Yeah,
first
no, I will explain the whole thing.
Yeah.
Hey, before I start explaining to you what this whole new act is about, I'm going to play this audio clip that really explains what happened at the Waverly and what it's all about.
Welcome to the Waverly Hills Sanatorium. This Gothic-style building is an uneasy presence, tucked away in the backwoods of Kentucky. Known as one of America's most haunted places, stone gargoyles stand watch by its entrance. Their silhouettes cast shadows, their eyes cast curses. It was built to treat tuberculosis patients, though overcrowding and understaffing failed both the hospital and its unfortunate patients long before the epidemic came to an end. Since then, Waverly has been abandoned by the living, though many of its doomed patients never had the opportunity to leave, even in death. But mortality rates, the death tunnel, regular suicides, inhumane surgical experiments, and sounds of unbearable agony as patients scream themselves into early graves. It's perhaps no surprise that today the crumbling hospital has an abundance of paranormal phenomena. Tonight, we will be reaching beyond the veil that separates us from the dead to call upon the tortured souls who still wander the halls of the Waverly Hills Sanatorium.
Okay, so I started doing a show called Do Spirits Return. And it was based on a show that I had seen with Michael Carbonaro and this guy Eugene Berger. And I loved magic. I mean, I've been doing magic my whole life. And the bottom line is, when you see magic now, there's so much magic on TV and so much magic on the internet that when you see a good magic trick, you go, that's a good trick. You don't really think the guy does magic.
Absolutely.
So my whole theory about putting this show together was, if I could take, are you playing that music? Because I can't hear it.
I can't hear it either.
I am playing it. I'll bring it up a little while.
But
I don't
anyway,
want to drown you out.
My dog is hearing
whole,
it, but
my whole theory was that if I could come up with a complete 40 or 90 minutes worth of magic effects that no one's ever seen before,
right,
and put together a ghost story with it, people would walk out of there if it was strong enough and say, well, it could be. And that's all you can hope for. You know what I mean?
Right.
So the name of the show is...
I think it's a brilliant idea for a show.
So the name of the show is called Do Spirits Return. And I come out and I go, my name is John Ferrantino and welcome to Do Spirits Return. And I said, up until recently, I would have told you no. But now, honestly, I'm not that sure. Because the research that I did, I found out that there's something called a trigger object. Mm-hmm. And a trigger object could be anything. It could be a necklace. It could be a coat, a hat, a box. Something that somebody that passed on once possessed. And they still have something they want to tell, a part of their story. So they've attached their spirit to it.
So
I mean,
like when you see this, the trigger object, that means the spirit's in the room or something, or
well, I don't really understand. I don't really know what it means.
right?
What I'm saying is, if you hold the object in your hand, we still can't hear any music. By
Oh,
the
you
way.
connect. Oh, I see. So like
So,
if you
yeah, so
hold
when you
hold the
hold
object,
the object
you
in
connect
your
to the
hand,
spirit.
It's not like you hear a voice in your head like a crazy person,
Right.
or it's not like you see a ghost. Because if I see a ghost, I'm out of that room before anybody else is.
No, I
It's sort of like a memory of a distant dream. If that makes any sense.
Yeah,
But you
yeah,
can
no.
hear their own story in their own words.
Because your people do leave like psychic energy onto objects,
Right,
and
right,
it's like
exactly,
so. I got now. I understand what you're saying now. Okay, yeah.
So anyway, I never believed in spirits. I never believed in supernatural ever. And I had a normal childhood. I grew up on Long Island, played sports, went to Albert Einstein College of Medicine, got a degree in radiology, graduated. I was working at Albert Einstein College of Medicine. And after 3 years, one day on the way to work, I decided I can't do this anymore, and went in, gave him my notice, and went home and became a stand-up comedian. And God, were my parents thrilled.
Yeah, that's quite a jump from one thing to another.
Oh, but yeah, I had a pretty successful career. I mean, I got to perform for 2 U.S. presidents. I worked with Crosby, Stills and Nash for 10 years.
Actually, one president, John. You've only worked for him.
Right. Well, 2, but 1 technically. And so anyway, I was working at the Louisville Comedy Club, and the owner said to me, "Tomorrow I'm going to take you to the most haunted place in America. It's called the Waverly Sanatorium." And let me just backtrack a second. The only thing out of the ordinary in my childhood was I'd frequently have this dream that I was in a room full of boxes.
Right.
And I can't say I had this dream once or twice. I had this dream a lot.
That's
And
strange.
I always go to the room. There was one box in the corner of the room that I was always drawn to. And no matter how many times I got to that box, I couldn't open it up.
Was it a dream, or would you say it was a nightmare?
It was a dream. It was a dream. It was a
Okay.
dream. I wasn't scared. I was in this room, and I'd go to this box, and it was a dream. I'd go to rip it open, I'd wake up. I'd go to lift it up, I'd wake up. I never could see what was in the box.
Never could get into the box.
Right. So,
Yes, Craig, that's been a problem.
yeah, Craig, the music is like kind of intermittent. We don't really hear it at all.
Well, I hear it really loud. I don't want it to overwhelm you, like with the sound.
You hear that was so funny. Just says came up loud. It thundered here. Anyway,
So where were we, John? You couldn't get into the.
Yeah, I couldn't
you'd
get
wake
into the
up. You'd
box.
wake up before you'd see the contents of this
right,
box.
right. And and it's something that I just kind of got used to and never really thought much about it. I mean, it was just like, oh, the dream again.
Right, right.
So I was working at the Louisville Comedy Club, and the owner said, "Tomorrow I'm going to take you to the most haunted place in America. It's called the Waverly Sanatorium." And the Waverly Sanatorium is in Louisville, Kentucky, and it was built during the tuberculosis pandemic.
What years were that?
Which is started in the late 30s, and it ran through, I guess, probably the beginning of the 60s, late 50s. Once antibiotics were invented, it kind of went away. But this hotel, it was almost like, because there was so many people. The Waverly had 8 floors, or 5 floors, and in 4 years, 8,000 people died.
Wow.
And
why it's such a haunted place.
Yeah, the hospital administration said it's an out-and-out lie. There's only 6,000. That would make it so much better.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what a difference.
Yeah, and so back then, the only cure that they had for tuberculosis were they felt sunshine. So all the rooms would kind of look out onto big windows. But the people would line up hallway to hallway. Once you worked at the Waverly Sanatorium, you weren't allowed to leave. Nurses,
amazing,
doctors, they had to live there. They had their own post office.
Now, did most of them wind up getting tuberculosis? Probably.
Well,
right?
this is the weird part. Yes. Going to work there was eventually going to be a death sentence.
Here's a dumb question: though some people survived? Was that a total death sentence? Some people did survive tuberculosis.
Yes,
right?
yes, some people did. The crazy part about this whole thing was that they my computer's getting darker. Sorry, I gotta make it a little bit brighter. The crazy thing about this whole story was that although there was a strict regulations about you couldn't leave if you worked there,
Right.
every day at 4:00 they had visiting hours.
It's so stupid.
So people came in and they didn't
got
realize
tuberculosis and spread it outside.
Yeah, they didn't realize it was airborne. They thought it was from contact.
I
So
gotcha.
the morgue in the place was very, very tiny. So they had a supply chute that went from the 6th floor down to ground level where the truck could pull up and they could.
They would just slide bodies down a friggin' chute.
It became like they called it the death chute.
Oh, that's gross.
They would line up the stretchers from top to bottom in this hallway and wait for the.
What if they got
undertakers.
stuck?
Somebody'd have to go down with like a plunge. That's like a chimney sweep. I think that.
Right.
So anyway, the guy says to me, "I'm going to
That's
take you to the
terrible.
I'm going to take you to the Waverly Sanatorium."
Right.
So I go, "I don't believe in spirits. I don't believe in ghosts." And he goes, "All right, well, going to come. It's going to be really cool. Bring your camera because I do a lot of photography."
Right.
So I went there and I got there and he said to me, "Why don't you wait on the stairs? I'm going to go park the car. It's really hot out." So I'm sitting on the stairs and I see these 3 college girls. They go up to the door. They start giggling. They run down. They go up. They start wriggling. They go. And this goes on about 3 or 4 times. And finally I go, "Well, what's going on?" And they go, "I know it sounds stupid, mister, but we're afraid to go in there because we heard it's haunted."
Right.
And I said, "Well, would it make you feel better if I went in with you?" And they go, "You don't mind?" I go, "No, not at all."
Oh,
So I went
Johnny,
on with
hanging
them.
out with the old college girls. Eh?
Yeah. So yeah, that's right. Me and Morgan Fairchild.
Yeah.
So we went in there and we got inside and they were kind of giggly and they were like, then they were really embarrassed when we got in there, you know?
Right.
And the one girl said to me, "I'm really sorry to bother you. I guess it's really stupid to come in here, you know, being afraid, thinking that it was haunted." And I said, "Hey, you know, think nothing of it. I used to be afraid to come into places like this when I was alive." And then I walked out the door.
Oh,
Have a nice
man.
visit, girls.
Oh, damn.
So-
Now, didn't you also have an issue? I don't know if I'm skipping ahead in your story, but didn't you also have an issue with a Ouija board?
Yeah, that'll
Who's
come. But wait,
clicking
let
the
me just tell you
pen?
this. So wait, so I go through this whole thing. The first thing I went to was the operating room because that's where I used to work in the hospital,
Right.
and it was really creepy and it was really abandoned. And if you want to see these pictures, I have a website. It's called WaverlySeance.com. You can go see all these pictures. So I went there, and then I went to the hallway where the patients used to be, and then
Did you slide down the chute?
Well, I went down the death chute, and it is scary.
You went
It
down
is-
the
Went
chute?
down?
Yeah. When I say death chute, it's a tunnel. I mean, it's not like a a
Oh,
laundry
okay.
chute.
You gave me the wrong impression. I thought it was like a
They call it
chute
the
that you
death
just
chute.
slide
No,
the
no.
body on.
No,
Yeah, like a water slide
No,
for dead
it's-
people.
It's like
Okay.
8x8. It's like 8x8.
Okay,
tunnel.
thank you. That makes it a little
However-
better.
Oh, man, I want to see the dead
However-
bodies going down there.
However, the stretchers were lined up on both sides of it, all the way from the 6th floor down to the.
Right.
I mean, you know, they were saying that there were like 50, 75 people dying a day.
Wow.
So I went through this whole big thing, and I went to this room, and I went to that room, and I went to the morgue. The morgue was really tiny. The morgue had like 8 drawers. That's why they had to use the tunnel. And I got all the way down, and then I went downstairs, and I went into the last room. In the last room, man, I couldn't believe it. I opened the door, and I walked in. It was a room from my dream, a room filled with boxes.
Oh, come on.
Really?
I swear. And it like really took me back. I was like, holy
I would have
shit.
shit. I would have shit my
Like, I'd
pants.
been here before, you know?
Right.
So I had to go straight to the box, right?
Right.
And, you know, the box of my dream. Kind of like half
This-
kidding, you know?
This is
But I was-
weird, man.
I was walking along and I was rubbing my hand along the boxes. Some were kind of dusty. And they were, it's Kentucky in the summer and it's warm and all the boxes felt kind of warm. And I get to the last box, the box of my dream, it feels ice cold. And then this guy comes out in a white lab coat and he says, "Listen, everything in this room is for sale. You know, these are all artifacts from the Waverly and
Wow.
put a bid on it and whatever." I didn't care if this box cost $1,000. I had to find
See,
out.
I was
what
getting
it
a weird. I had a different vision of this place. I thought it was like abandoned, but it's so.
It
so
is
they're
abandoned.
actually-
No, it is totally abandoned.
Okay.
Totally abandoned. But they, you know, they're.
But
what
they have a
did
gift
was-
shop. But they have a gift shop.
They have a Halloween decor center. But anyway, no. What they did was they took everything. Originally, they wanted to do is level the place and make it like a Christ Redeemer statue.
Right.
They lost funding. These other guys bought it. And they want to make it a hotel, a haunted hotel. Like, who the hell wants to stay there?
Well, you know what? That's big money, though. No, those are a lot of people that are into that kind of weird
Yes.
shit, you know. So I can see
But
selling
anyway,
off the artifacts.
So they were selling off. I mean, there was stuff like desk chairs. There was boxes of like nurses' outfits, I guess, and stuff.
Bandages and shit.
Bandages and stuff. So I bought this box, right? And I put it on a bid. It was like $200. I got the box. We finished the tour, and then we stopped by, and the guy said, "Hey, your box is ready." So I bought
Hey,
the
how many
box.
times have I heard that?
I bought the box, and I brought it back to the hotel room, and it was bizarre, man. It was like a kid on Christmas.
What was in the box?
I
man,
opened
of
up the
your
box,
dreams?
and you know what was in it?
What?
Crap. Nothing. And I
Nothing.
thought there'd be some cool shit to sell on eBay or whatever. And there was an old lab coat that said Dr. King Surgery. There was a box. There was a surgical tray with a bunch of stuff in there. Another wooden box,
Right.
an old doll.
That's so weird because I mean, I had a dream. One of my I consider it a nightmare, but I was in this like you remember like Indiana Jones when they put the Ark in that warehouse that never ended.
Right.
It was that empty, but nothing but tires. And I could never. It was like a maze of tires from the floor to ceiling, and I could never find my way out. That was one of my friggin' That was a nightmare. A reoccurring nightmare as a kid.
Tires. It's interesting.
Tires of all things, tires. I have no clue why to this day.
Well, the crazy part was I first thought there was a bunch of crap, you know, and
Right.
I was like kind of disappointed. I don't know what I expected to find in there, but you know, after waiting like 60 years to open the box, unless there was diamonds in there, it was going to be disappointing. But anyway, that's how it started. When I held this crap in my hands,
Right.
I felt something. I don't know. Like I felt like the story. I heard people's stories.
Wow.
So I did a lot of research. And like to give you an idea, I found this one box, right? And inside the box was a pair of glasses, an old watch, a nurse's tag,
like what? Like the
a
identification.
woman's glasses,
Yeah.
a pair of let me say there was three things. There was a patch, a pair of glasses, an ID,
Right.
and I don't know. I don't remember what the third thing was. But anyway, it's 4 objects in this box.
Right.
And I look at the box, and one of the objects in there was an ID that said Mary Hillenberg.
Mary Hillenberg.
So I looked up Mary Hillenberg.
Now, was that a nurse or was that a
And
patient?
it was a nurse. It was her ID. It
Wow.
was her ID. And so it was like, so what got me to that box, right? So then the research that I did it turned out she was a 22-year-old nurse
Mhm.
that worked there. She was very attractive. She,
Not with a name like that.
the nurse's patch was really well worn.
Right.
But on one side said some school. Then I looked up, apparently that's where she went to nurse's school.
Right.
And then on the other side was her RN patch that she wore on her uniform. And then was a watch in there. And apparently, in the story that I read, her father had given her that watch when she became a nurse because nurses need a good watch.
Yeah.
And there was these really, like, antique glasses, you know what I mean? That looked like Mrs. Roosevelt would have worn them, you know? And it started saying that those were glasses. She was happy to say she never had taken a picture with those glasses on.
Right. Plus, she was 22. Vanity doesn't let a
Right.
girl take a picture of it.
And glasses back then weren't very stylish, you know?
Right. Right. No,
And-
definitely not.
So yeah, it was. But then I got like this dark feeling about it, and I don't know what it was. And and then it kind of stopped.
Now, this is after you got it home, or this was
As
in the
I got it
Waverly?
home.
Or
This
was
is like,
okay.
Yeah, this is like.
Did you get a weird feeling at the Waverly? Like, did you feel like the death and the spirits and all that?
No,
because I know you don't believe it. You say you don't believe in that stuff. Mostly.
Yeah, I was just really curious. I was really curious what was in the box,
Right.
and I said the first time I went through the box, I go, "Oh, this is a bunch of crap,"
Right.
So anyway, I held the objects in my hand. I felt happiness, like a really happiness, and then really despair, and then nothing. So you go on the internet and you start looking up stories about Mary Hilgert, like documented stuff. It turns out, and then I told you I found the lab coat and it said Dr. King surgery.
Right.
So finding the Dr. King surgery lab coat is sort of like finding the Tom Brady card if you were collecting football cards. His rookie card.
The rookie card, yeah.
Because he apparently was a major figure in this Waverly, and he's a little shady. So it turns out that she fell in love with this Dr. King, and
put on the romantic music, old, Craig.
And for 6 months they dated, and then she became pregnant.
Ooh.
And then she told him that she was pregnant, and he just cut her off completely.
Wow, Dr. King.
And then he put her on the night shift. And then when she was on the night shift, and she was always upbeat, and people always said, oh, she had the great zest for living, and she was always like the happiest person in the world. She hated working the night shift, because night shift you had as many patients as the day shift, only with like half the people.
Except it was dark.
It was dark. And so anyway, she was in room 504, and they found her hanging by her neck from a sprinkler pipe.
Ooh, that's nice. Looked like it was an accident. It was an accident.
And then
I think Dr. King had something to do with that.
This is the weirdest. This is the weirdest.
Yeah.
And I got this image that Dr. King. It's so weird to even talk about that. Dr. King tried to make up to her and bought her this perfume.
I thought you were saying like bought her a fucking rope.
Bought her perfume. Wait. And she says, no, I say she says, this is, I don't know. I can't explain it. But she said she took one whiff and she knew it was chloroform.
Wow.
And then the next thing she said, she never woke up.
So these messages you're getting, not any kind of
yeah, but
thing.
then I do research and I find out that they found her hanging by her neck in a room.
Right.
And the room is the most haunted place in the Waverly. There's actually photos, if you go online, of a woman, like ghost-looking woman.
So you're saying that this Dr. King murdered her, basically.
Well, it was never proven.
He didn't hang herself.
Allegedly.
But anyway, then her friend Mary, and this is what one of the images I keep getting, or one of the voices, whatever it is she keeps, the only thing she talks about is how she's so sorry about Mary. Then I read that Mary, who was her friend, got assigned to the night shift, and she was assigned to that room, and she said she couldn't go in the room because she could hear the cries of a newborn baby, an unborn baby, and Mary. And she ended up jumping from the floor to her death.
This is creepy shit, man. This is like,
man.
I should be eating candy. I should be eating candy corn like fucking while I'm listening to this. I feel like these Halloween kind of like.
So, yeah, I mean, the stories are endless. I mean, and there's a story about another little boy named Timmy who both parents had died of tuberculosis.
Right.
And both died of tuberculosis, and she really liked the little kid because he was a little wise ass. He was always cracking jokes, and Dr. King hated him. And Dr. King was watching the kids at a playground on the roof, and all of a sudden little Timmy miraculously fell off the roof and died.
What?
And it was called Tragedy at the Waverly. And I have a newspaper article. I looked that up. I found a newspaper article, and it says that he fell to his death. And
you know how many people must have died in the old days, and it was just an accident, but it wasn't an accident.
I can see if we say fuck Dr. King. Can I say that?
She took
Yeah,
the
fuck
music.
Dr.
What's
King.
this? She took the music box home just to remember, and she had a picture of Timmy, and she put it on her mantle. And like weeks turned into months, and months turned into years of all the hundreds of kids she had taken before, and she started losing the memory of Timmy, and she couldn't understand why. And then one day, because she used to play with Timmy every day at 2:00, and one day at 2:00 in the afternoon, the music box started playing in her house.
Oh,
So she ran over to the music box and opened the lid to make it louder. And as the music, and this is what I feel, the music filled her ears and tears filled her eyes, and the memory of Timmy came back like there had no time at all passed. And just as the music started, the music stopped suddenly. She went over to the box to wind it up. When she opened the box was just filled with broken pieces. That she was going to be.
This totally reminds me of like campfire stories we used to tell when I was like,
right.
Oh my gosh!
So wait. This is the coolest thing ever. How to trace her. So she said she knew that Timmy was okay because she had a dream. She was driving home, that she woke up in the middle of the night and she passed a Woolworths. And she says, "I think it was a dream. It may have been a visitation." And she decided, but she wrote about this in a journal. There was 2 journals in Christmas is for kids. And she said that she woke up and she was standing in a field. So she bought the kid in the middle of the field. Off the distance, she could see hundreds of kids and adults walking with white robes. And the kid keeps saying, hugging the doll. So she fought her way through the crowd. She got to the edge of the road, and she looked way up. She didn't have the nerve to tell her child walking that she was probably never going to get lit, or probably never. As he got closer, she pushed away through the crowd. She realized, and she keeps saying, "Listen, when they get there, she ran out. Come home with you, Timmy. I can't believe." So she gets a call that like your candles in January. That there's been a fire at the Waverly. And he looked at her, her name was the wooden structure went up really quickly. She had to get to work.
Mm-hmm.
And so she got to work, and as she was walking down the hallway, it was all burnt. And
Oh my God!
there was like debris on the floor, and she reached into the debris, and there was the doll.
Yeah,
it's amazing. And she ran to the kid's room, and she thought the kid maybe had escaped, and had escaped. When she pulled back the covers, the kid was in the bed holding the nurse's call bell, and she had died of smoke inhalation.
Oh,
And
thank you for cheering me up today,
well, listen,
John.
Dr. King said it was smoke inhalation, no need for an autopsy, no need for anything else.
Yeah, I trust that guy.
Dr. King is kind of fishy.
Yeah,
it was like a knife through the head. No, look, it was smoke inhalation.
So wait, so she gathers up some stuff to remember Anne. She takes the doll home with her, and as she's leaving the hospital, she looks at the doll and said, "Well, I guess you're finally gonna come home with me." And that's when the shit happens. That night, she puts the doll on the shelf in her room, and the doll falls over for no reason, gets a big crack in the arm. Next morning, she's getting ready for work. She notices a crack in her, like a crack, a scratch, deep scratch in her arm. She's going away for the weekend. She always puts her keys in a certain spot. Goes to leave to go away for the weekend. Can't find her keys. They're under the doll. So
my name is Talking Tina, and you better be nice to me.
So she keeps a journal of all this weird stuff that's happening, and she's saying, "I got to throw the doll away, but some reason I feel like I can't." Because the little girl is attached to this doll, and I can't just abandon her again.
Right.
So finally, she takes the doll, she wraps up, she puts it in her closet, and she writes in the journal, "All night long, I heard the muffled cry of a young girl." So she takes the doll out again and says, if anything else happens, it's the last straw, So she's lighting a candle for a dinner, and she sees a tear roll down the doll's eyes.
Oof.
Rolls down her cheek. So then the last entry in her journal says, it's so weird. She goes, "I know I don't sleepwalk. I know I don't get up at night to go to the bathroom once I go to sleep. This morning when I woke up, lying next to me in the bed was a cold, lifeless doll."
Oh, come on.
So, John, do spirits return?
Wait, so the final thing is... The final thing on this will blow you away. So in 1968, they decided that they were going to put up a plaque in the lobby, a bronze plaque of all the people that worked there
of the Waverly Sanitarium.
The staff, everything from the orderlies, the nurses, and the doctors.
Okay.
So they asked everybody to send in, they asked the administration to send in the IDs of everybody that ever worked
The records of everyone who's ever worked there, right.
So 2 weeks later, they got a letter from the AMA, the American Medical Association, saying there's no record of any Dr. King.
Really?
So they think, wow, this is a little weird. It's probably clerical error. They send it off to the Kentucky Board of Licensing.
Right.
Week later, same thing.
Maybe in Kentucky, you didn't need a license to be a doctor. How you doing? I'm the doctor over here.
No record of a Dr. King.
Right.
So now they're really concerned. They send it off to the FBI. Within 3 days, they get back a positive match of a Robert Kingsley, a convicted escaped murderer from the Kentucky Board of
Kingsley.
Right, from the Kentucky Board of Corrections, whose only medical training was he once worked as an orderly in the operating room.
This is just too freaking weird, man.
It was
this
never seen from again.
So they believe that this murderer was posing as a doctor in the hospital.
Surgery.
Wow.
And he was there when Timmy fell off the roof. He was there when Mary got hung. He was there when he declared that kid died of smoke inhalation, although there was no smoke in the room.
This is freaking weird, man.
It reminds me of that Leonardo DiCaprio movie where he pretended to be a doctor, only he wasn't gruesome.
Well, everyone thought he was the doctor because he was like the only one with a full set of teeth. He must be the doctor. There you go. You got teeth.
What was that? Catch Me If You Can, right?
Yeah. So we're about out of time, John. Just letting you know that everybody.
Oh man, look at Craig just cutting you off, man. Just telling him, John.
No, it's the end. I mean,
no, he said. I said I was going to say he timed it perfectly.
Hold on, man. Let me get my razor blade so I can cut my wrists after this show.
Listen, anybody who's listened to this stuff, if go to the internet, look up the Waverly Sanatorium. Look at the story, tell the stories I just told you. You'll see that they're true. I didn't make this stuff up. And if you ever get to Kentucky, I'm going to be there actually in November, and I'm going to go to the Waverly for the first time.
So I thought you were there. First time since.
Well, since all this stuff happened. You know what I mean?
Man, wow.
Oh, I'll tell you what. I'll be honest with you. I would friggin' honestly not want to step foot anywhere near that place. That just from what you've described, I got no desire. I got no desire to go to Kentucky. Period. But I mean, but to go to that place, I don't think so.
Well, I mean,
I'll tell you, I went to another place. My daughter got me VIP passes, hard hat tour to the abandoned hospitals on Ellis Island.
Well, I mean, I used to hang out at Roosevelt Island. I used to go when it was called Blackwell Island when I was a kid. We used to hang out in all the abandoned hospitals on the end of the island, and I think they were also like psychiatric hospitals. I don't think it wasn't tuberculosis, but it was a. So I'm sure there's a lot of spirits there. I'm sure
abandoned hospitals are creepy as fuck. I actually shot a movie in one, and just walking down those halls, just creepy as shit. And it echoes.
What was the movie called? What was it called? Timmy on the
Alice. It was called Alice.
I got Timmy on the roof, man.
Yeah, Timmy, dude. It's like we have Timmy on the roof.
I'll tell you something freaky. Is in the box was this alarm clock that is all rusted and the gears are like hanging out and it's no hands on it or anything. And there's no mechanism in this thing whatsoever, right? Mm-hmm. And no one knows exactly what time Mary died when she hung, and because the sprinkler pipe broke. So we can only imagine that this rusty clock may have been in the room.
Oh boy.
And one night I got this vision that she died at 8 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it on a piece of paper. Mary died 8 p.m. and the fucking clock rang.
That's just too weird, man.
There's nothing in it to make it ring. The gears are hanging out. The spring is broken.
John, let me ask you though: were you maybe chewing on some edibles at that time?
No, a little bit.
No,
little wacky weed, John.
No,
little Tokizoka.
I wish
some acid. Maybe some brown acid from
If
Wichita.
the
I
log
wish.
rolls over, we'll all be dead.
So in the show, I mean, lots of weird stuff
Wow.
happened.
So
man.
this is weird, man. This went by fast. This is freaking. It's like feels like we're just starting the show.
Yeah, I mean, I think even though it's not official, that this would really qualify as a Halloween show, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
without a doubt.
spooky stuff inside, man.
Yeah, they're very spooky, very spooky.
So if you come to the show, there's two things that happen that are pretty cool. We didn't get to. I know. Do we have 2 more minutes?
If
I have a Ouija. So basically, I always go to people. How many people here ever try to get in contact with the dead, and nobody raises their hand?
How many
They go,
people
how
are
many
married? Just ask how many people are married.
I go, how many people?
How many people
Oh,
are
How
married?
many people ever use one of these? I hold up a Ouija board,
Right.
and all the hands go up, and weird stuff happens with this Ouija board. The thing moves by itself when they ask spirits.
Right.
And now I've lost it. I can't find
lost.
it.
Wow. You know what, John? You should contact a psychic about where your Ouija board is.
Or get another Ouija board and ask it like you tell me.
yeah,
there
maybe
you
it's
go.
a Wergy board.
Well, I know we've
Where are
mentioned it
you,
'cause
board?
Craig and me
Where are you?
both have weird. I don't think we have time to tell them, but we have weird. I had a weird. I can tell mine real quick.
I can do mine quick too. Yeah.
So mine was just we were playing with the Ouija board, and I asked it what time the pizza would be here. We're drunk, we're smoking, we're high, and it said 9:17. And at 9:17 exactly, the fucking door rang, and there was the pizza, and it blew me. And so I asked the Ouija board. I asked it how old I'd be when I would die, and it said it put out 34 and then spelled out drugs. And I got sober just before I turned 34. I think that maybe I didn't consciously remember that the Ouija board had told me that, but maybe it was a subconscious thing, So
Wow.
yeah.
I was at a party, and these two girls were on a Ouija board, and I asked them, am I ever going to be a working actor? Am I ever going to be on a TV show? And it said yes. And I said, when? And went later. I go, when later? And I said, I started giving ages, and I said like 60, 70, like Grandpa Walton, and it went yes. That's when it said yes. And then I said, who is this? And it started to spell out Philip, Phil. And I got cold sweats because my mother's father died in 1968, and he would always call me Philip.
So
these girls.
Wait, how is it make
He
sense?
always called you Philip?
If you're Philip, then how is Philip talking to you? That was weird.
No. That means he's calling me Philip.
Oh, I see. Wow.
Yeah,
that's
like when
weird,
they started to spell out Philip, I was like, how would they know that? He used to do it to, hey, Philip. I go, my name's Craig. Hey, Philip. I used to get a little irritated when
I would get irritated too. Like my grandfather called me like, hey, Frankie, excuse me, my name is Mike.
I actually thought about making that my stage name at one point because of that. But no, it's
should have called yourself Philip's Magnesia.
Philip Milk of Magnesia. Yeah, whatever.
So anyway, if you go to my website, I'm going to give myself a plug. It's www.waverlyseance.com. They sent a paranormal investigator from the Waverly to my show to debunk it, and now he's my promo.
Wow, that's cool.
He's like, I went to John Ferrantino's show, and I was freaked out, and I'm a paranormal investigator.
I want to see not only your show, but I want to see freaking your show, and I want to see Lindsay's show, man.
Yeah.
Lindsay's show is gonna be huge.
All right, John, we're way over time.
Yeah,
all right.
Better.
So let's say goodbye to Craig Mitchell.
Hey, bye.
Let's say goodbye to Mike Grief.
Hey, I got to get out of here, man. I got to go to the gym and get beautiful.
What do they have, a plastic surgeon there?
That's cute, gentlemen. Let me tell you, I got a cute little story about that. It starts with you saying that. It ends with you in the emergency room. It's a cute story. I think you're gonna like it. Let's sit back and listen.
Take a hike, Magic Boy.
I think Dr. King has possessed Mike. There
you go.
All right.
All
right, guys. A great way to end on a laugh. We'll see you next week.
Peace.